Residents of the Central African capital Bangui are recovering from floods caused by torrential rain this week. While there hasn't yet been an official assessment of the damage, cases of drowning have been reported and over 100 homes have been seriously affected in just the city's 4th district. One of these houses belongs to Nathan. On Thursday and again on Friday, a lot of rain fell on us. We hadn't seen anything like this since over 5 years. It overflowed and we were underwater. We took out all of our stuff to try to repair the damage. In another district, the drainage channels were said to be overflowing. Several residents of this 800,000 city went out on the streets to denounce the poorly built constructions and call authorities for help. Whenever this happens, we obviously need support because we can't do anything on our own. There is a saying in our country, woe to the lonely men. So even with the efforts made by the government, there is still damage. We ask them to make a little effort to repair all of this so we don't fall back into the state. According to a regional newspaper, Bangui Mpoko International's runway was completely flooded on Friday, causing difficulty for planes to depart and land.
The two Frenchmen convicted in Madagascar for a plot to stage a coup and assassinate the Malagasy head of state denounced their conviction on Friday. Speaking through lawyers at the appeal tribunal in the capital, Antananarivo, the two defendants denounced the irregularities that marred the legal process. The defense is asking for their verdict handed down by the ordinary criminal court last December to be annulled without the postponement of the trial, which would lead to the release of the detainees. The two defendants were convicted to 20 and 10 years of forced labor. The decision of the appeal court is expected on August 26.
Kenyan opposition leader Raila Odinga and his running mate Martha Karua continue to rally as general election gets closer. In the central city of Murang'a, the pair tackled corruption, a major theme of these elections in a country where, according to current President Uhuru Kenyatta, 2 billion Kenyan shillings are lost daily to this plague. As you have been told by my deputy, Martha Karua, corruption is the worst enemy of Kenya. If you elect me, I will slay the monster. We want a government that will take care of our resource so as to stop the theft and plunder. The 5-time candidate never reached the presidential seat, but this time around the 77-year-old veteran politician hopes for a different outcome after picking a female deputy who could become the first female deputy president. I support Raila because he has chosen Martha Karua. He will better our lives and that of farmers. I support Raila because of his manifesto. Baba cares for universal health coverage, which will help cover for the National Hospital Insurance Fund. The final campaign rally should take place on August 6th, 3 days before the elections on August 9th. Just a few hours before a referendum on a new constitution, hundreds of Tunisians were still on the streets to demonstrate against the draft text put forward by their leader. Officials of the Islamic-inspired Ennahda party stood among protesters in Tunis, accusing President Kais Saied of power grabs since last year. The most important message we want to convey is that the pro-democracy demonstrators in Tunisia continue to fight against the coup, against all of those who want to roll back the revolution and democracy. We are demonstrating today 24 hours before the so-called referendum to express a position that we announced months ago. For us, this referendum is meant to give allegiance to a person named Kais Saied. The new constitution aims to give less power to the parliament as allowed by the 2014 constitution, a decision seen as a threat to democracy for many who praised the 2014 text inspired by the 2011 Arab Spring. I came to participate as a Tunisian woman to say that I endorse the 2014 constitution and that I say no to the referendum, no to the one-man constitution, no to the concentration of power in the hands of one person, no to the destruction of institutions in Tunisia. The referendum on Monday is taking place a year to the day after Kais Saied sacked the government and suspended parliament in a decisive blow against the country's young democracy. The Horn of Africa is facing its worst drought in over 40 years. As a result, 18 million people in Ethiopia, Somalia and Kenya are going hungry, according to the US Agency for International Development. The agency met with residents of a village in Turkana, northwest Kenya, to improve their support. My children ask me for food, and yet I can neither provide food for them nor steal it. I'm too old to become a thief. This desperate situation makes me shed tears. The food we receive is hardly enough, as we have to share with our neighbours who may not have been lucky enough to receive some. Because of this, the food barely lasts 3 days. Other humanitarian actors, such as the UN's relief chief, have in recent months called for urgent action after visiting the region. This time, USAID's administrator vowed for an assistance of over $1 billion.
All of their livestock had been wiped out, decimated by this drought. So we are talking about the massive loss of livelihood and the risk of the massive loss of life. They're providing $1.6 billion in financial support to our partners who are doing everything from building boreholes or repairing boreholes so there can be some source of water, to providing food, to providing medicines.
A situation showing no sign of improvement. A regional development organization in East Africa warned on Friday a total of more than 15 million people could face severe food insecurity this year.